Inventor, drag racer, artist, author, stuntman, mentor. I can say so much more things about you and never gonna be enough to describe who exactly you are. You are definitely a blessed guy with a lot of God-given talent.
Well, I started racing when I was 15, 16 years old. I bought a 1933 Ford three-window coupe for about $13. And believe it or not, I painted a house and got the car, and I took the mufflers off, I took the fenders off, and I primed it, and I drove it out the Minnesota dragways when nobody was around. I didn't have a driver's license or nothing. And the guys asked me how old I was. He says, "Oh, you're not old enough to race." I says, "You got to be kidding. You have no idea how bad I want to race." And the owner of the track comes over to me, Don Vosch, and says, he handed me a clipboard. He says, "Write a letter from your mother and sign it." And so now I was able to start racing at a very young age. And I started racing motorcycles for a period of time. And then I got into twin-engine motorcycles. Then I got into dragsters, top gas, dragsters that ran on nitro. I traveled the circuit around the United States racing cars for a number of years. And then I finally found out at Union Grove, like the jet cars there, were getting paid to run. So I took the Chrysler engine out of the back of my dragster and put a rocket motor in it, and that was called a pollution packer. And with that car, we ran the very first 300 miles an hour in a dragster, and the very first 4-second run. Now, we were running 300 miles an hour. We were running over 50 miles an hour, maybe 75 miles an hour faster than Don Gartless was. So all of a sudden, we became the highest paid drag racers out there. Now, while I'm doing all this rocket cars around the country, we're trying to set records from state to state to state. And we ended up setting 72 state, national, and international speed records. Well, that led me out to California. And I was working in a shop one day with my car, and a stunt guy came in there. And he had a catapult, and he says, "Can you weld this for me?" I says, "Who built this piece of junk?" He says, "What do you mean it's a piece of junk?" I says, "You can use all aircraft hardware." I says, "I can make a nice looking one for you." So before you know it, I made a catapult. Now another guy wanted one. Now people are asking me to make stunt equipment. All of a sudden I'm in Hollywood. Now I'm doing stunt equipment, became a stunt man, then a stunt coordinator, and ended up working in like 200 movies, television shows, commercials. So it's just one thing after another after another. Meanwhile, while I'm not doing something, I'll start a company up. And I've started many companies from scratch, from all the way from snowmobiles to cosmetics. I got to work with some of the best racers out there. Kitty O'Neill, one of them, went over 600 miles an hour. Jessie Combs especially. She was a very dear friend of mine, and Gary Gablich and Craig Breedlove and Mickey Thompson and Art Arfons. So I knew I knew a lot of the land speed guys. And so speed has always been in my blood. But the coolest people I've ever been with, I've shook hands with 5 of the people who have walked on the moon. From Buzz Aldrin to Pete Conrad to Dr. Harrison Smith. Those are the people who I look up to. But you can imagine walking on the moon. I mean, that's really cool.
Attention all astronauts, please report to the rocket ship and prepare yourselves for blast off. Thank you.
I've always been kind of a different guy, and I do things in a much different way than the average person. But I just really copped an attitude because of the problems I had in school, and it gave me this extra drive that I have to succeed at. No matter what I do, I want to get right to the top of it. But the problem is, once I get to the top of something, I become bored, very bored. So now I'm always looking for a new game, always looking for something new to do.
What is your next step?
Well, the one thing I've never got involved, I should say I never got involved, but I built a land speed record car that was in the shop here, and Kitty was going to drive it, and I brought it out to California, up in Fillmore, California, and we had it stored there, and somebody stole that car, and that just, it broke my heart. I had many years of building in it, a lot of personal money in that. So I really lost that goal. I mean, now the goal is way up much higher, but I knew at the time I could break Gary Gablich's Blue Flame record. I felt that I could break that record pretty darn easy. So after that, after I lost that dream, my next thing was I was looking up, I'm going, I wonder if any civilians ever put a rocket into space. And at that time, I didn't know what the law was, but it's a $250,000 fine, $250,000. It's a $250,000 fine and 5 years in prison. It's a federal offense if you do it without a license. Well, then I ended up working with the federal government, the 5 different agencies. It took us 2.5 years, and we became the very first civilians in the world to ever get a license to launch a rocket into space. And that's the proudest thing that I've ever done. I started the civilian space exploration team. A number of friends came in, they helped me, and with finally 2004, May 17th, we were the first civilians to put a rocket into space. It went up 72 miles, 72 miles up, 3,580 miles an hour. And I think that's the proudest thing that I've ever done. And me holding the nose cone was the happiest day I ever had in my life. So it's going to be hard to beat that. I'm not sure what my next goal is. The suit you were wearing.
Oh my God!
Yeah, this is the suit that you were wearing when we were shooting a segment for the TV show that we were working on. We had you in that suit, and then we put you into the rocket.
Oh my God!
Homemade astronaut, yeah.
I was forgot about that. That was super cool experience for me.
And it went like 439 miles an hour, and it flew well over a mile, past the ground. On the other, way on the other side. And we recovered safely. He didn't have a scratch on it.
Always I wanted to be here, and I'm so happy that I finally visit this amazing house. Thank you about that, Ky. And one of my dreams came true.
Well, I'm happy that you're here too, and I'm happy that you enjoyed what we've done. And you're a fine lady. You're doing really well, and you're going to have a good life yourself. And, just work hard, and you set a goal, and you just never quit until you reach that goal. That's the big thing. What you see around this house is just a few of I've built so many more things in here. I mean that I've sold or are museums. A number of our museums around the country also.
How did you decide to build this house?
Well, I decided to build a house that's never been built before. Something that you can do anything and everything you want without going outside. That's why we got a swimming pool in here. We got a workshop in here. We got a place to run a business out that brings us a really nice income. It's a house. It could be a woman cave or it could be a man cave. It could be either one. But there's anything and everything is in this house to enjoy. Everything in this room means something to me. But the thing I'm the proudest is putting that rocket into space. And over there to my left there is the actual nose cone and the electronics bay that went into space that we recovered with a parachute. So you can look at that over there. But when I held that thing in my hand, and there's a statue right up here, you'll see me holding that in my hand. That was my proudest moment in my life. It's a pencil sharpener that runs on nitromethane. It's a nitro-powered pencil sharpener. These are all different guns I made, motors that run on it. air, hot air. I built that telescope and all kinds of crazy stuff. You look in there. Got a dinosaur here. And yeah, it's a real dinosaur. And this here's a dinosaur egg. And this is a meteorite from outer space. And that's a bone from a dinosaur. Weighs over 200 pounds. And for being on a busy street, you walk right out the door here in the country. That's interesting how we did meet with the rocket sled and with Kurt, and yeah, that's cool. Well, I'm really glad that we did meet, because you're very interesting and a very nice person. Very interesting. I'm happy that you came, and I'm happy if you enjoy the work that we've done through the years here. Well, I hope the next time I see you that you'll be a world champion of some kind.
Thank you, Ky.